Welcome to another week, another show of Hawkeyed with me, Dave O'Hara. As you can see, our friends Craig and Stacy Schroeder from Fight with Flash Foundation joining us. But before we get to Craig and Stacy, a lot going on today's show. Of course, as you know, the Iowa Hawkeye men no longer continuing through March Madness. So Adam Haluska, former Hawkeye basketball playing great and second round pick from the Iowa Hawkeyes into the NBA. Adam's going to talk about postseason, where this leaves the Iowa Hawkeyes moving forward as well. But as you know, Adam knows the postseason heartbreak being a former Hawkeye, and unfortunately, that nasty string still continues on. 24 years now and counting that the Iowa Hawkeye men's basketball team have not made it to a Sweet 16. So Adam will join us, and then John Steppe will talk to us about Iowa Hawkeye women's basketball, who did make it to a Sweet 16. So we're going to talk about the Iowa Hawkeye women, as well as John had some media availability with some Hawkeyes going into the NFL, but also getting ready for spring practice. So much to cover on this show as always. So Craig and Stacy, good to see you again. How's everything going with you two?
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Great. Well, you should be happy. You just got back from vacation.
Yeah.
Again, go to the Fight with Flash Foundation Facebook page or fightwithflash.org, Craig and Stace. It's always great when you take that time away because you basically reload, recharge. I know you honor the Skellies, and so mental health, anxiety is important to talk about, not just with kids, but adults. And then also Tater Tough, Tate Schaefer, and you put a nice sand sign out there for them as well. And you know, cancer hits everybody at every age. Unfortunately, you guys know that. The Schaefers know that. But Craig, I wanted to hone in on a message you and Stacy have said in the past days before we get to the vacation and what is accomplished there as well. Look in on people. Check on people. You know, especially mental health now with everything going on, not just with Patrick McCaffrey or Kevin Love, you know, some of the athletes that have made it more well-known. Just people in general. Check on your folks. Check on your family, friends, loved ones. And just make sure everybody's doing okay. So that being said, Stace, what a vacation. I'm glad to see that you guys get that done with the kids and other families,
Yes.
but really neat to talk about those signs that you put out on the beach, please.
Yeah. So every year we've made it a tradition of ours every year to we take a day that we honor. We were honoring Austin, but then of course now that we added Tater Tough and then Owen Skelly. So it's so fun to gather the group, and the group has just grown. This year, actually, there was a total of 60 people that were on the trip with us. But it's just so great because then Craig gathers everybody. We all hold hands, surround each other, and we just kind of give a good message. He gives this good message of, again, being kind.
Yep.
Just tell each other you love each other. You know, you just never know. Tomorrow's not guaranteed for everybody. So we do that. And you know, the other nice thing is we have these flags. We take our Fight with Flash flag, we take a Tater Tough flag, and we take Owen Skelly flag, hanging by our towel or by the pool. And it is just really neat when people come by and ask us what it's about. And so we get to share our stories and their stories for them, just about how special they are and what it means.
That is great stuff. And there you go, what it means right there. So conversation starters, everybody gets a chance.
Yep.
Spreading the word, you know, spreading the love and letting everybody know we're all thinking of each other.
Yeah.
So Craig, and thank you for that, Stacy. So Craig, you know, it's been a while with our schedules. We've been at Carver-Hawkeye Arena with some interviews. Also, again, thanks to Rick Heller and Hellerball. And I know baseball's near and dear to you two with the Fight Flash Crosstown Classic upcoming soon. Yeah. But you've got some dance marathons to catch us up on, don't you?
We do. We've recently gone to Liberty and Kirkwood and did those, and which is exciting. We have another co-college one coming up this weekend. And there's more. They actually go all the way through April, so there'll be probably a couple more that we'll end up getting to. But we are already starting to prepare for the Crosstown coming up June 10th, and also looking at our golf outing on September 8th. So we got some cool ideas, but it's going to take a lot of work to create some marketing for it, and then with the limited apparel type of issues with inventory, supply, and everything. We'll have to be way ahead of the ball game on this to get everything in place in time. So
as always, so much going on. Don't forget that bourbon online auction as well. Is very successful last year. Yeah. Craig, Stacy, thank you so much. Great seeing you again. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, you too.
Thanks,
Thank
Dave.
you so
You're
much.
very welcome. Thank you. So for Craig and Stacy Schroeder and the Fight with Flash Foundation.
To have a strong finish, you need an excellent start. It's true on the track and also in the field. That's why Mershman Seeds works tirelessly to deliver cutting-edge technology year after year. Introducing Starting Line, Mershman Seeds' latest advancement in seed treatment, now providing added protection from white mold and sudden death syndrome all season. Ask for starting line seed treatment from Merschman Seeds, your friend in the field.
Hi, I'm Joel from Tice Chevrolet. We've lived through some very interesting times the last few months. Ensuring everyone's safety is more important than ever. That is why we are participating in the Chevy Clean program. At your request, we will pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it after we've cleaned it using the current CDC guidelines. This is just another way to work towards exceeding your expectations. So give us a call and let us show you what it means to be part of the Tice Automotive family.
Welcome back to Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. Here's our buddy Adam Haluska. Adam?
Good to see you, Dave.
Good to see you. Thank you, Adam, so much. Former Iowa Hawkeye basketball playing great. Second-round draft pick in the 07 NBA draft. And Adam, you see all Adam's information throughout this segment at the bottom of the screen along with mine. So, Adam, you know how it goes. Here we are again. I said, when are we going to stop having this conversation in March? I wish we could have it in April. 24 years in a row now, the Hawks have not made it to the Sweet 16. The Hawkeye men. Hawkeye women made it to the Sweet 16. But so let's talk about a little bit about this. I talked with Jess Settles the week before, talked with Kent McCausland last week. In the postseason, it's defense. Guards who can get it done when the offense breaks down. When they can't score, what happens? Let's talk about that a little bit, please.
Yeah, there's going to be games where the shot's not going to fall. And obviously, it wasn't our best offensive production game, but, Auburn came in struggling to shoot a little bit, especially from the perimeter. They really came out and shot well. We've got to work on perimeter defense. And, again, you got to take it game by game and matchup by matchup. But, I love our team. Coaching staff did a great job this year. We had injuries. We had things going on all year. These guys stayed the course. And when you get to tournament play, that might have been a game where we could win 7 out of 10 times. Yeah. But that one time, we got to lock it on D and you got to play.
But I got to ask you 2 personal experiences from your past. Doing very well in the business world now with Wells Fargo Financial, so you've applied a lot of your lessons on the athletic fields into the business world. But what's that feeling like? I had Kent McCausland talk to us about it, Jess Settles, and you've shared this with us before, but for those that weren't around for your past appearances, what's that like? Especially like when you lose a game to, gosh, I don't want to swear at you and say Northwestern State, but the heartbreak of a 14 seed losing to a 3 seed and a bank-in shot at the end. And McCausland talked about the last game they lost to the eventual national champions that year in '99 to Connecticut. And he said, Dave, I still think about it to this day.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
It's one of those, when you talk to Bruner and Horner and those guys, we go back to it a lot because on paper it was right there for a good run. We finally got Jeff healthy. We had everybody ready to go, won the Big Ten tournament. It does make the tournament, watching it, kind of hard at times.
Yeah.
A shot
even to this day.
Even to this day. We were talking about it when I was out on spring break with some buddies, and it's a tough memory because, again, that's our whole thing was, as a team, we wanted to win the Big Ten outright. That was a major goal. Go at least to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, possible run or even better. And I thought we had the guys to do it. But again, this is not like the NBA or overseas. It's not a best of 5 or best of 7. It's one game, winner goes, loser goes home, and I think that's what makes this tournament so special. Guys or girls, it doesn't matter. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night.
I think that's the intriguing thing that you mentioned about the pain of it still, and McCausland talked about that too, to bring it up. That's who you are. That's your identity, especially back then. And, Kent said ever since you were a little kid, and Settles, the same thing, and you've said it before too, that's all you wanted to do and who you wanted to be. But what I always find fascinating is some of the fans like, oh, they don't care, they go on to the next thing. No, you guys care a great deal.
It still eats at us. So. Yeah. And I know the fans too. I mean, we talk about it with people all the time, where they were when that shot happened, or, I can remember watching that game with Kent and those guys. I mean, those are just moments in time that, as a Hawkeye fan, you live and die with it.
Yeah, you really do. The other point I wanted to bring up, your personal experience, you know what it's like to go in the NBA and the NBA draft, and you and I, my production partner Michael, were talking before we started recording this segment, and I just thought it was great insight. The multiple times I've spoken to you on the air, off the air, over life, and on my radio shows, but also this TV show, and you say what you said about Chris Murray, and again, we're pretty certain Chris. He's anywhere we've heard anywhere from 11 to 14, so a late lottery pick, but for sure, like in the top 20. Why wouldn't you stay? That's the whole point of going to college, is to get a job. Yeah. And so you know what it's like to be double and triple teamed on defense, or have the zones and box you in, and you get that freedom of the NBA.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised when Keegan had a big summer league like he did, and I think Chris is going to have incredible opportunity here to really shine, whether it's in a combine setting or even in summer league. He's been the focal point for a lot of defenses here this year, right? Stop Chris, limit his touches, limit his shots, and I think again, when you get to that next level, especially in summer league and some of these others, he's going to be really wide open.
Yeah.
I can remember my first couple experiences where I hadn't felt that wide open in years. So they'll take notice of him, and again, he's got incredible talent. You look at his size, his length, his jumping ability, and then just the ability to shoot it, right? A lot of those years they've said he was the better shooter of the two, and you look at what Keegan's done at the next level. And again, when you don't have school, you don't have everything else going on, your entire focus of your day is getting better at basketball. I look for him to have a huge career there.
I think the NBA is going to look at how smooth he is. You said a great shot. He's very smooth and fluid moving.
Very
at 6'8".
unselfish.
Yes, and that's the other thing. Very unselfish.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those guys when you build a team, what kind of guys do you want character-wise? What kind of athletes do you want on the floor? And then, just the intangibles. He just brings it all to the table. And again, the level-headedness. It doesn't matter if he makes a shot, misses a shot. He's one of those that I've told Kenyon, I try to model my kids after it. Their emotion stays just like this the whole time, and it's impressive. Big shot, miss a shot, bad call. You never see that demeanor change. And again, those guys, Kenyon did a great job of coaching those kids up.
I want to get one other thing out of you before we go, and I don't want to be abusive of your time, but this is a time where I think you lend great experience as well. So we talked about the NBA experience and had some smiles and laughs and very positive stuff, but injuries cut your career short, unfortunately, and then also the experience of losing that game. But what's this offseason going to be like? You were still a junior because of transfer rules and such when you came from Iowa State to Iowa. You're an Iowa kid through and through from Carroll, Iowa. But when you come back, and now Horner and Bruner are gone, and it ended up being Alfred's last year, your last year, you didn't make any postseason after that. But what was the postseason like after you lose that Northwestern State game? How long did it take? I know you said you're still thinking about it to this day.
Yeah.
But then this summer, you got to start workout. Later this spring and summer. I know the world has changed a little bit in the last 16 years. But what are these guys going to be going through who do return to Iowa? What's their offseason going to be like?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is having an exit interview. Like in any business or whatever you do in life, I think you got to go back and reflect on, all right, what happened this past year? What do I need to improve on? And I think the coaching staff is going to do a great job of sitting those guys down and figuring out, all right, Dave, what's your weakness, right? What do you got to work on? What strength or what can we do? What role are you going to play into next year with these other puzzle pieces we're going to put together? So, again, I think that happens pretty quick. I mean, I was back in the gym a few days later after that loss to Northwestern State because I had a senior year. Bruner and Horner and those guys were in the gym right away because they were training to try to get a spot on an NBA team or overseas. But after losing something like that, I hate to say it, but it can almost be a good thing. You look at what the women have done. That chip on their shoulder from what happened at Creighton, especially with a young team, it can fuel that fire of every single time you're using that in your workouts to just get better, to not let it ever happen again. So hopefully these guys can use it as motivation. Again, figure out what your weak point is. And again, I tried to look at that every year, reevaluate what is it they say I can't do. If you're looking at a scouting report and there's something in there that's a weakness, what can I do to make that better? Mm-hmm. And so, again, these guys are going to put in the time. They're going to put in the work. I'm excited to see what happens, next year and what the team looks like.
Yeah, I am too, and I think we all are. And that's the big mystery. To your point, when I had Lisa Bluter on this show around Christmas and Caitlin Clark around New Year's and then Monica Sonato the week after, all three of them used that Creighton loss last year at Carver-Hawkeye Arena when they were the top seed. And boy, John Steppe and I are going to talk about this in the next segment. The upsets galore in the women's, Iowa's the highest seed now in Seattle. Yeah. But the intriguing thing to that is all three of them talked about that Creighton loss and used it as motivation till the season ended, Adam. Yep. And then they said, now we got to flush it and move forward and stay focused. Yep. So you're right. They used it to motivate them all the way, and now turn and burn.
Yep. Once that season starts, and a lot of people, you're looking 3-4 games ahead as a fan, it's game by game. You got to take it one at a time. And I think that's what they've done. The year started off a little shaky with the girls. I think we expected everything just to be easy. Mm-hmm. They got better as the season went on, and you can just see the progression that's happened. And what a way to win the Big Ten tournament, come in the first 2 rounds. Even though they didn't play the best this last game on Sunday, they gritted and found a way to win. So hopefully get that game flushed out, get out to Seattle, and win a couple games out there.
From your lips to God's ears. Let's go with it.
All right.
Adam, thank you so much.
Appreciate it, man.
You're very welcome. Adam Haluska, former Iowa Hawkeye basketball playing great. Always appreciate Adam stopping in a couple times during the year, but obviously for the postseason wrap-up for the Iowa Hawkeye men, there you go, all the ins and outs and what players go through, even back then. You know, It's very interesting to hear. So thanks again to Adam Haluska, and when we come back, John Steppe going to join us talking some Iowa Hawkeye women's basketball. But hey, spring football, hope springs eternal. So the Hawks are back on the football field, but John has some guys going to the NFL and doing some training. Going to update you on all that and the ever popular much, much more. So back with more Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara, in just a few moments.
Hi, I'm Joel from Tice Automotive Family. I want to let you know our family's getting big, really big. We're now offering Chevrolet's medium-duty truck lineup. Whether it's a 4500 with the custom flatbed or a 6500 with the dump body, Chevrolet has the truck we can upfit to meet your needs. So stop in and let us show you what it means to be part of the larger Tice Automotive family.
Who do you trust to produce the best yield? A seat company that's chasing technology or a seat company that's writing a book on it? Merschman Seeds is a leader in technology. We're independent and family owned. Our sister company, MS Technologies, provides access to world-class traits and genetics. And our starting line seed treatment is second to none. Who can you trust with your yields? Merschman Seeds, your friend in the field.
Welcome back to Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. You see our buddy John Steppe. John, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. Thanks for being here. John, of course, with the Cedar Rapids Gazette, and you see all of John's information at the bottom of the screen along with mine throughout this segment. John, so many good things. We were just talking off the air, and viewers, you got to know, we talk as much off the air as we do on the air, and boy, there's so much good going on right now at the University of Iowa. We talked with Adam Haluska, unfortunately, about having to rebound from a tough loss for the Iowa Hawkeye men. But the Iowa Hawkeye women, John, you were there last Friday and Sunday. We record this on Tuesday afternoon, March 21st. But hope springs eternal. First day of spring here officially, first full day, John. So let's talk about Bluder's Bunch going to Seattle in the Sweet 16, please.
Yes, it's a really special group. When you look at it, obviously Sunday's game was a little shaky, but we can talk about that more too. But you look at it, and the overall talent level from this team is really high. This is a team that has been there together for a while. You look at 2021, 2022, and now 2023. So the last 3 seasons, they've essentially had the same starting lineup. And it's unusual to have this much talent, this much chemistry. And of course, any conversation would be missing something if you aren't talking about Caitlin Clark, who, she had an off shooting night against Georgia, 6 for 17. So, she has 12 assists.
Yeah. Still ends up with 22 points, too.
Yes.
And the big bucket down the stretch, the game winner.
Yes. A very respectable 22 and 12 there. So you look at it, a really talented team. Caitlin Clark obviously doing Caitlin Clark things. You have Monica Sinano continuing to do Monica Sinano things. But I think really when you look at what kind of the difference maker has been, it's been some of those role players. You look at Gabby Marshall with her sharpshooting. You look at others. That's really been crucial for this team getting to this point, to the Sweet 16. Obviously, their goal is not just the Sweet 16. They want to get to Dallas.
Yeah.
They've made that abundantly clear. So it's going to be a challenging path. Granted, they are the favorite, where if you had to bet, you'd probably bet more so on them than anybody else in the region. But you look at it, there's still going to have to be 2 challenging, talented teams to get to Dallas. But if there's a year to do it, if there's a year to go to the Final Four, this seems like it could be the year.
Yeah, the next 2 games will be in Seattle, and they're in the Sweet 16, then it would be the Elite 8, and as you mentioned, culminating in the Final Four in Dallas. So you take a look at that, and no disrespect to Southeast Louisiana, but we really don't need to go into that major blowout the Hawkeye women had. But back to the fans again, all 3 games during that session, sellouts, and Sunday they needed it against, Katie Abrahamson Henderson, a Cedar Rapids area product and a former Iowa Hawkeye women's player, and it was something else to see how well she coached her Georgia Bulldogs. So we'll move on. We won't live in the past, but I do want to mention one other name when you mentioned Gabby Marshall. Usually it's Kate Martin. This time it was McKenna Warnock with the double digits and great shooting, and she almost had a double-double. And unexpected She's had moments where she shot well from the field, but she and Gabby both with big three-pointers there for a while. It was a run back and forth with Georgia, so I don't want to spend a lot of time micromanaging that game because we're going to move on now to the Sweet 16 and what's happening in their bracket in Seattle, or what has happened, to your point. But we got to give a little shout out to McKenna Warnock, too, who played her last game at Carver-Hawkeye Arena along with fellow fifth-year senior in Monica Sinano.
Yeah, Warnock and Sinano have had a lot of great moments together. They've had a lot of great moments for Iowa. When you look at all of the teams that they've been a part of, it's been a lot of scoring, a lot of winning that they've been at Carver-Hawkeye Arena for. It's interesting, I asked them both on Saturday, the media availability day before the second round, about their favorite their favorite Carver-Hawkeye memories. And the same thing was kind of their first answer, which was the sellouts.
Yeah.
And the first sellout that they both mentioned was the Michigan game last year, where they won the regular season title. So they get to end with one more sellout, and kind of a fitting end for their Carver-Hawkeye chapter, and a great environment, as you were talking about.
Good luck to Coach Bluter and the ladies and Bluter's bunch, and we're hoping for, like you said, next time we talk, they've gone to a Final Four in Dallas, and sure would be fun to see this get paid off with some of these great careers. I know we came close a couple years ago with Megan Gustafson, made it to the Elite Eight, and would have loved it seeing her get paid off by going to a Final Four or a national championship. So bringing national prominence, I think that's the neatest thing about this, is to see these young women get their payoff, that they're getting great national respect.
Oh, yeah, the whole country. Eyes are on Iowa women's basketball. Caitlin Clark has a huge part in that. I had an article this week about how she's assisting on and off the court. On the court, everyone kind of thinks of Clark with her shooting, but she has one of the highest assist rates, actually the highest assist rate in the country. And off the court, she's been giving quite the assist to women's basketball as a whole, with all the autographs she's signing, everything that she's been doing. People are watching Caitlin Clark, and when I talk to friends from out of town, they know Caitlin Clark. It's probably the first name that comes to mind now for a lot of them when they think of Iowa athletes. You look at it, and Clark has fans all across the country, and you have the signs of, okay, I drove X number of miles to see Caitlin Clark play, and it's truly special. And I was talking earlier this month with the Big Ten's vice president for women's basketball, and she is saying that she has family members, I think his nieces and nephews, who are running around in Caitlin Clark jerseys.
There you go.
And
so not just little girls.
Yeah. So, and her point exactly was that it really has transcended gender in terms of Caitlin Clark's national support.
Great column, and again, folks, check it out. You'll see John's information at the bottom of the screen throughout this segment along with mine. Great piece, like you said, assisting on and off the court. So let's get to men's, let's go to Hawkeye football. Hope springs eternal. We got spring practice now. We had a big bowl victory just a couple months ago when you were on a couple of times ago. You were in Nashville for the big victory of the bowl game. So now we're in spring. We have done a pretty nice job with you and also Kenny Smith and others talking about the combines and how well the Hawkeyes are doing. The Big Five, obviously, with Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Kayvon Merriweather, Riley Moss, and
Lucas Van
Ness. Who's that name? I was going to say that's the name I should have mentioned first, the first rounder. But by the time this show airs, John, you will already have had your first Kirk Ferentz press conference tomorrow on the 22nd of March, as well as the first workout of the spring. What are some of your thoughts, expectations? What are you going to be laser focused on this spring, John?
Well, the number 1, 2, and 3 things I'm going to be looking at in terms of spring football, what I'm going to be most curious to hear about is going to be the offense. The offense, and the offense. You look at it defensively, Iowa has earned a level of benefit of the doubt in terms of their results. Special teams under LeVar Woods has just been outstanding. The offense is the big question mark, and that really held back that team in 2022. But now you have some reason for optimism. You have Cade McNamara coming in. You have other talented players coming in. Of course, you're losing Sam Laporta. You also have an easier schedule, so you're not going up against Ohio State and Michigan. So how well this offense does is really going to be key in terms of, is this a 10-2 or even an 11-1 team versus is this Naden 4 team.
Can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate you laying this all out for us, from women's basketball to now football, and there's so much to talk about that we will continue to talk about. But John, thanks so much.
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome. Great seeing you again. He is John Steppe with the Cedar Rapids Gazette Iowa beat writer. I'm Dave O'Hara with Hawkeye. Thanks to my production partner Michael Merrick, and also Adam Haluska, former Iowa Hawkeye basketball playing great, and Craig and Stacy Schroeder with the Fight with Flash Foundation. So again, for the aforementioned folks, that's all from me. Thanks to all of you. And as always, thanks for staying tuned at the end of the program for these rolling credits to give our advertisers and sponsors the attention and credit they so richly deserve. And as always, to our aforementioned guests and to you, the viewers. That's all from us at Hawkeye. Thanks to all of you.